Hey there, it's Nathan Speir. This video features album notes narrated by myself for the new album coming out, Tapestries for Seasons. Releases this Monday, December 4th, 2023. Be available for download. Also, CD available in this nice Echo wallet. Hope you enjoy the music and the additional information behind it. Thanks for listening. Allspice Brew was created as a tone poem, and it almost remained exactly that if it was not for a little more prominence of melody that made its way into the final composition. The setting is evening before the fire, accompanied by perhaps one's own choice beverage for edification in the moment. Perhaps late fall is the season of year that comes to mind here for me. A piano melody is played simultaneously, forward and reverse, as a small phrase from the Duduk sets a haunting and mystic tone to this long-form piece. An oud slowly makes its way into the foreground with a slowly evolving melody of its own, ringing chimes and gong echoes in the background. The rumble of bass overtones almost becomes a distraction at points, much like the overtones of society always trying to distract us. Nonetheless, it's a woven abstract for contemplation and slower thought. It's the first of 8 piano sketches that was recorded for this album. Arguably the most ambient in tracks, Somewhere is Spring is a nostalgic relaxation track for anyone wanting that quiet, happy place outside. In the spring season, there are field recordings of creek and forest from my own property in Virginia that were recorded in April 2023. As I began mixing in the tracks for this piece, I thought of the passing moment of that field recording, a captured memory of sound. I realized it would be winter by the time I was going to be releasing this song, and I took a moment to sympathize with those who endured too much cold, snow, ice, both externally and internally. This piece is for the moment you can remember that life can get better, and somewhere, hopefully, it already is. One of the most vague piano sketches I made left space for me to create one of the most dramatic and passionate pieces, perhaps that I have made yet. Dual acoustic guitars speak and flirt with each other over the backdrop of tribal percussion and bass drums. You get a sense of seriousness, emotion, and passion. It's a story of ice and fire, the struggle for temperance, balance, and love. It's a universal struggle, it's life, it's beautiful. Flute makes its appearance towards the second half of the piece as a final narrative to highlight the royal path, a road less traveled. The ice and fire continue all around, but the rhythm of a worthy traveler finds beauty in it all. Sleigh bells, an almost pop-sounding acoustic guitar riff, and a driving piano and bass rhythm. This is really a change in pace from the first 3 songs of the album. So if this interrupts your groove from the last 3 songs, my apologies. A ney flute made of bamboo provides more narrative after the tempo gets set into the intro. It's like you just took off in flight and now you can look out at the scenery. Everything at once, yet it is water off a duck's back, because sometimes when the ice breaks below me, I know it's time to make like a reindeer and just fly. Have you ever seen reindeer jump? It really can look like they are flying sometimes. Reindeer remind me of winter and the Christmas season, a nostalgic image of lore, unfortunately, which in some cases has become almost a repugnant commercial for the capitalists. But nonetheless, this title is not really about Santa Claus. It's about the mystic flight into the night and the romantic possibilities that hope brings in any season. This song is like an ambient chamber ballad. The waltzing piano sets the mood for that right away, and then some processed electro-acoustic guitars start to fill in the mood. A distant gong rings every so often between some moody electronic drums that play throughout. Maybe more noteworthy is the background vocals I sung myself to give a final depth and texture I needed to create a surreal piece across a field or hall of many doors. This is the only track in this album featuring any solo cello from my studio as well. Many doors, many options, many choices befall me sometimes. Memories, anticipation, desire, all make metaphorical hallway within many doors to choose from. And maybe the hallway opens to a field and eventually the doors subside, or maybe you finally open a door to see where it goes. Or maybe you finally decide to close a door you struggled to close for a long time now. A soft and tender note from a handpan starts off in this primarily electronic piece, with the exception of my piano and string sections in the background. The rest of the textures performed in this piece are purely with my synthesizers. The piano and handpan take you into an underwater dive towards a coral reef, and the synthesizers paint the ebb and flow of aquatic life there. There's a progression of motives and themes. I really don't let you stay looking at any one thing for too long on this tropical excursion. For a brief time in college, I enjoyed some free diving and aquatic explorations. They were reminiscent of times I would swim in an abandoned rock quarry as a kid. Now they're all memories, and the memories sometimes go so deep I sometimes touch a new spot in my subconscious sea when I go back to visit some of those moments spent in the ocean. There's always more to us than we know, if we're willing to take a dive inside and discover what's there. Whatever ideas I originally had done with piano went out the basement door. This is a purely electronic recording with synthesizers played by hand, one at a time, over each other. In the summer, I enjoy watching things grow, and so do my children. I stay so busy with my day job and parenting, I really let the kids have fun doing a garden on their own, while I just support and watch the best I can. It still doesn't mean that I can't make the time to help a little and stop and smell the flowers or watch the bugs. That mysterious garden crew of creeping and flying things that have more business in that little space than I ever will. You might feel like you stepped off a short commute with E.T. to his village, or you might put yourself in one of those little creatures' perspective for a moment that's living in your own little garden. Tend your garden well, and I can only hope they are on our side. I'm a huge fan of Michael Hedges. I can only dream of playing guitar like him. But ironically, I think the more I listen to him, the more I get the courage to find out what it could be like to play guitar like me. This song is about the moments I feel rejuvenated or inspired. Sometimes they do not come to me until I have passed through some of my own ice and fire. However, the open-hammered strings on the guitar, touched with reverb, it's one of the best textures I could summon up on this feeling at the moment. A captured glimpse of joy that comes for those who persevere. I hope this song is motivational and leaves people in a positive mood after they listen to it. Sometimes, if we're tending our own garden right, we all just need a little motivation, a little inspiration, and we're ready to spread our wings again. From moment to moment, day to day, year to year, from this life to the next, I hope you soar.